everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Endowed to Win. Yes, God has given you everything that you need to win. Hallelujah. You're more than a conqueror already. And this episode is just going to be so thrilling, so meaningful, and it's going to change lives. I just believe that. And with me today, we have the wonderful Dr. Reverend Pastor Winsome McLean. Oh, wow. I love this woman, I tell you. So our topic today is the ABCs of making marriage work. Now, that seems like an oxymoron right there, a contradiction. It's an irony. ABCs and work. ABC is supposed to be easy, but for those of us who have said yes to the dress and to the man, we know that marriage is work. I'm telling you, elbow grease, just doing it every day, in the grind every day, okay? Just working it out. And they're good rewards, but definitely takes work. And so the ABCs, so again, lady, wonderful Pastor Winsome, could you please introduce yourself to the audience of Endowed to Win?
Endowed to Win. Thank you so very much, Lady Ingrid, for this invitation. I am honored to be here with your wonderful audience this evening. Just a brief description of who I am. I am Winsome McLean. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist here in the state of Florida. I also work at FAU, where I am the Assistant Director of Diversity and Inclusion, the Cares and Teaching Pastor at Bread of Life International Church of God, and also a published author as well, 5-time published author, 2-time best-selling author on Amazon. And so I'm grateful that we are here. I'm also the owner of Soul Care Institute, where I provide therapeutic services for individuals, couples, and families. And so I'm just grateful to be here tonight, today, and to have this wonderful conversation. I'm so excited to jump right in.
Awesome. So from what you can hear, we have the right fit for the right topic. She is more than qualified to speak to us on these topics. So, if you are going through, whether your marriage is sound, whether it's healthy, whether it's struggling, whether you're dealing with challenges, today's a day for you. And we pray that you'll be blessed and encouraged to make that marriage stronger and better. So the ABCs of making marriage work. Okay, I think A is accepting each other. At least one of them, accepting each other. Because, Pastor Winsome, the honeymoon is just awesome. Mm-hmm. The wedding, oh my goodness, so much excitement, yes. So much anticipation. Wow. So much planning that goes into that. For what, 3 hours? Right. Okay. And then you're left to be with this person, okay, who you thought you knew, okay, but then you start to live together, and it's a whole, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, you sure that's the same? Do I know? Okay, all right, because you realize that you have so many differences now, and then the fights, sometimes the awkward moments, all the, situations, that just come bobblate us so many times. We deal with that. So, we want to know, how do we actually accept these people? Why couldn't we see these differences before we got married?
Well,
because some of us dated for a while,
Well, okay, and so it's interesting, because it's really about what you do with your dating or courting time, right? For some people, their point of connection was the physical attraction. It was the sexual attraction. And so if that was the foundation by which the relationship was built, now it's time to live with this person and their personality, all the their culture, all the things that make them who they are, right? And so my advice always, especially with premarital couples, is that there should be multiple layers of compatibility.
Yes, I
right? We should be compatible on so many different levels, but also we should have goals and a mission for the relationship. It can't just be we're together, I love you. That's awesome. That's wonderful, right? But it has to be something more than that, right? And so I think the way that we accept our partners is that we understand that in order for us to have a strength-based marriage, we have to accept the person for who they are.
Wow, absolutely.
Many people want to create little mini-me's. And because they want to create little mini-me's, then there's always going to be this point of conflict, right? Yes. Acceptance means that I value what this person brings to the table, right? And so in valuing what you bring to the table, I'm not necessarily trying to change you, right? Because I appreciate what you bring.
Okay. Now, how do you accept those things that the person brings, even though it might be something good, when you were expecting something else? It's not what you wanted. As you said, it's not a photocopy of you. Nope. Okay, I mean, my husband is nothing like me. Okay, you know, on a lot of different levels. Yes. Okay, and I'm thinking this is how he should be. This is how he should act. Right. This is what he should do. Okay, and he has a whole different, you know, I mean, just mindset of what his role as a husband and a spouse is. How do I accept that when it's not what I planned? It's not what I wanted. It's not what works for me. Yeah.
But you also have to remember that it was the difference that he has that attracted you to him in the first place. We are normally attracted to the parts of us that we are not, that our partner exemplifies. One of the movies or the shows that I have clients watch is Everyone Loves Raymond, right? Because Raymond came from a family that was big and boisterous, and his wife, not so much. And the thing that attracted her to Raymond was his family. Right? Okay. And the same thing that attracted her to Raymond was the same thing that began to repel her. Because now his family is coming over. They not knocking. They just opening the door. They just all in the business. Yes. But that was the thing that drew her to him. So we have to be very, very critical and examine what was the reason by which I fell for this person in the first place. For the people who are more reserved, usually they'll meet a person who is more outgoing, and they'll be drawn to that outgoing nature. So now you take them home and you don't want them to be outgoing, but that was the thing that drew you to them in the first place, right? And so when you talk about how do I deal with what he brings to the table, that's why I think it's important for the premarital work to happen. Because when we do the premarital work, we're going to define what is the role of the father, what is the role of the husband, what is his role, what's your expected role of him, right? And that's where the negotiation takes place. So but sometimes we wait until, because it's all butterflies and roses and ooh, when he's around I feel all tingly. And that's the focus of our courting. Versus setting the foundation, absolutely. Right? So important, by which we're going to build.
So important. Yeah. I think if we do that, that set that foundation before marriage. Right. Okay. I mean, it will cause so much less pain and stress and so much more, you know, disappointment and discouragement as we go into marriage. And, you know, we see, you know, I'm an educator, you're a family therapist, you've worked, I know, with at-risk youths also. So you see the dilemma, you see what happens, okay, the result of broken home and broken marriages. So, get that foundation in place, that premarital counseling, dealing with the real issues.
But also, I think that sometimes we don't date with intentionality, or we don't court with intentionality, meaning that I need to see how this person operates across many seasons. meaning that how do you deal with disappointment? How do you deal with loss? Right? How does this person deal? Because when I get a handle on how they deal with these different things, then I'll get a glimpse into what life is going to be like with this person.
Absolutely.
Do they lose it when the money is funny, or it's gonna give you a glimpse.
Yes, absolutely. And that leads me to asking you about some of those areas. Where couples most often experience those areas of unfulfilled expectations. Because here are these differences, here are these expectations. I expected you, to treat me like this.
Right.
Okay, I expected you to bring me this and to do this and to help, but you're not doing it. I expected you to treat me with more, respect or admiration, and both sides. Okay, and these are some real issues. What are some areas that you see that couples experience these unfulfilled expectations that leads them to the point of divorce and saying that, you know what, we're separating on grounds of incompatibility, which is just a shame.
Right. And so I want to bring up three in particular that come up often for me, especially in my practice. One is sexuality. The other one is financial. And then the third one is emotional. Okay? And so there is this unfulfillment in sexuality because sex is not intimacy.
Oh, take your time now.
Okay?
Yes.
So, and because sex is not intimacy, sometimes we go after sex, but we don't go after connection. Intimacy is the intentional connection points that we make to stay emotionally engaged with each other, right? Sex is just a physical act. And sometimes couples struggle with the physical act because the intimacy has not been taken care of.
So true.
I told a young man the other day, I said, you build up the intimacy and sex won't be an issue.
Thank you. Okay, amen, amen, amen.
It won't
So
be
true.
an issue.
So true.
But because there's a lack of
Foundation,
because there's a lack of intimacy, or we define sex and intimacy as the same thing.
Yes.
That's when we run into trouble, right? And unfortunately, because of the generation that we're in, pornography is also an issue when it comes to sexuality. We are finding that young men have erectile dysfunction because of years of watching pornography and not needing another person. So now they're not aroused by their partners. And you see what I'm saying? So there's so many things that we find when it comes to sexuality, but intimacy is a primary one. And then how do I turn to my partner sexually to ensure that they are fulfilled? Child, this one is so.
Since we're doing foundation, okay?
Lord.
And we're going to delve a little bit more into part 2 in this. But how do you develop that intimacy to lead you to, more sex?
Right.
Okay.
Right,
That they want, that most men. I mean, I hate to make that distinction, but I know, honey. I know. My husband, where is he? Go on.
Right.
So how do you develop that intimacy?
Yeah, it's about speaking the person's language, right? And so if I'm a gift giver, my intent is to give you gifts because that's what I like, right? But I can buy you a $400 watch and you give me this, right? I'm going to be disappointed because I put a lot of effort and time into it. But I'm not speaking your language, right? So intimacy happens when I begin to speak your language. It's when I suspend me wanting to watch this movie because I see this look on your face that says you need me. Right? That's how intimacy is built.
And not in a sexual touching kind of way.
No, not at all. You need me. And so I recognize you. I see you. And so I make myself available for you. right?
Yes.
And so intimacy is also the touches that don't lead to anything other than that touch.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
You understand?
Absolutely.
It's the affirming and the building up of
Yes.
your partner.
Wow.
And when you begin to do those things, like I said, you look really, really attractive, men. If you out there listening, you look really, really attractive when you come home and go wash them dishes.
Hey,
to free up her
man.
time
Say
so that she could be more available to you. You look
preaching.
really, really cute.
Yes.
Right? When you do those things to help to
feeling it now,
support,
buddy.
right?
Yes.
So that's the basis by which we build that
Yes.
intimacy. And sex will be second nature
Yes.
when those type
Natural.
of foundations are
Yes.
built. Yeah.
Yes. Second nature just
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. It'll be that natural progression that we don't have to force.
Because you want to say thank you.
Of course. Of course you do. Absolutely.
Because you're grateful.
Exactly. Come on now. You did it and I didn't have to ask you. You
hello.
saw
Yes.
that I was stressed out and you came and you put
Yes.
on a cup of tea. Come on.
Yes,
You
yes.
understand? It's seeing your person.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
And so another one is financial. Where we have unmet expectations,
that's a
right?
big one,
And
yes.
so a lot of times when it comes to finances many times is connected to past traumas that people have experienced in
Okay.
past relationships,
Okay.
right? I know someone personally that their ex like kind of took everything, right? Left them with nothing. And their next relationship, they were super cautious when it came to finances to the degree that they kind of withheld, right? But didn't really realize that it was connected to something that they had been through in the past. Okay? Finances also is connected to a lack of vision and a lack of
My
trust.
God, this is loaded.
Come on now, I
feel like we
didn't
need
come
to
to
unpack
play.
these things.
All these things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that is a major.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
marriage, killer. That
Absolutely.
finance.
Yes.
Okay, whether it be, just dealing with the reaction from those past relationships or just not being financially responsible.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So here I am again expecting you as a woman, I expect, my husband to be that breadwinner and that,
Correct.
of my home and that provider.
Right.
And when I have to tell him, Pastor, or when I have to be doing
Right.
what I, so much, what I think he should be doing.
Right.
I mean, those feelings,
Absolutely.
you get disillusioned,
Exactly.
despair.
Resentment.
Yes.
Yeah. And even with that, we walk into relationships, again, that's why it's so important to do the pre-work, right? We walk into relationships and we expect that our husbands or our wives are to do what our fathers and our mothers did, right? So if daddy paid all the bills, now we expect him to pay all the bills. But what if you're the more smarter person when it comes to finances? What if that is a strength for you? Why would you ascribe that onto him where that is not his place of strength, right? So we take those things from our family of origin and we superimpose them onto our relationship instead of creating our own. Right? Wow. And so if he's not strong in that area, why put the pressure on him to do it? True. And you are strong in that area.
So what I'm hearing you say is that pretty much at some point you just have to accept that this is not him.
Correct.
He's not a financially savvy person. If he has the $200, he's going to spend it right here, right then, or anyhow he feels. So you just have to accept that.
Correct. But not only accepting it, but also establishing boundaries around it, right? And so if then, you get the 200 and you go spend it, you ensure that 200 is a discretionary fund, is being taken from, and not the family fund where we pay our bills and do those type of things, right? So I think we take certain things and we make them so much bigger than they have to be made because we don't put strategies in place.
Okay, and Pastor Winsome, and I hear it and it sounds good. It sounds theoretically good, okay? But what happens to that person, who it's just, I mean, they're trying everything. They're trying to do the budget. They're trying to be responsible and take, just authority over that area or responsibility over the area. But that spouse is not cooperating. He's not, he or she's not saying, okay, you doing. They're not agreeing to do it. So, either, that person is not standing up to their responsibility, or they're not, as I said, cooperating. What do you do when it's just you? How do you keep it together? How do you stay together? How do you make it work when you're not getting that support?
Right.
From that other person, whether it be sexually or financially, as you discussed.
Yeah. So at some point, we do have to make a decision, right? We have to make a decision as to whether or not the lack of reciprocity in this relationship, I can sustain it, right? And if you make the decision that you're going to stay, then you have to put things in place to ensure that you are not financially strained, right? And so that might mean that we can't do two accounts, or we can't do one account with both of our names on it because fiscally you're not responsible. Let's just be real about it, right? If you're not fiscally responsible, I'm not going to continue to put myself in a situation where my account is being overdrawn. Right? And so at some point we have to make those hard decisions that if I'm going to stay in this relationship, here is the boundaries that I must place around my money. Yes. And that's just the honest truth, right? Yeah.
And as Christians, we definitely, that's like our ultimate goal, to stay. I mean, we know how God feels about, divorce. I've been, on both, sides of the equation, and believe in God that even as we enter into marriage, we get rid of the parachute. Okay, so there's no escape route. We understand, but definitely, thank you so much. Oh my God, setting those boundaries.
Yeah. And then emotional, right?
Yes,
that one is a biggie.
Yes.
Because when we talk about emotional, it means my ability to sit with you in your emotions without the desire to push you. Right? Without this desire to solve the problem for you. Now, men are problem solvers. Y'all come in and you're like, okay, what do we need to do? Da, 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 da. But when you
wrote the book. He's a professor.
Listen.
He's got the solutions.
Correct. But sometimes all we need is for you to just join us in the struggle, not necessarily come up with a solution for us, because many of us, we can come up with our own solutions. It's just a matter of, will you sit with me when I've had this long day and I'm doing my boss's job and I'm not getting compensated for it and I just need to vent, right? Can you just afford me the atmosphere where I can just talk that through, right? So it's sitting in that place with your significant other. It's also the ability to hear the truth of how they're experiencing you without you losing your mind. Right? And so
this is not fair. This is not fair.
Listen.
That right there is a whole show. Okay? Woo! The truth without losing your mind.
Without losing your mind. Because impact and intent is two different things. You might have intended to have me here today for a particular reason, but the way that I experienced it leaves an impression on me. So that's my impact. Right? Wow. And so in relationships, our partners, I think they mean well, but sometimes the impact is negative, right? Wow. Whether I'm experiencing it through the lens of my trauma or what I've been through in the past, it doesn't really matter. It's about the impact, right?
And so, it's hard for that person to see because of their intent.
Correct. So we got to sit and deal with intent versus impact. And I have to give you an opportunity to share with you my intent, but you also have to receive the impact that it has had on me, right? So it's very easy for us to disconnect emotionally from our partners because relationships require so much.
Now, what's the process, of someone accepting the impact? Because sometimes it's tough. Sure. Because again, you meant no malice, no harm, but it impacted me adversely. How do you receive the fact that, what you said or what you did
Right.
affected me this way. And even though you don't mean it, I'm hurt, I'm wounded, I'm offended.
Right.
How do you
And that's a part of the process, though. I think we're expecting our marriage to be like other relationships where we can disconnect and not deal. And marriage doesn't afford you that opportunity. You can't just disconnect and not deal, right? We have to sit in the difficulties of those, but those moments are like light afflictions in the bigger scheme of things. Because if I could sit in it and deal with it, that's the part. It's the sitting in it and dealing with it so that I can move forward. Boy, once we get to that place of moving forward, the next time it's not going to be the same. It's going to be different. But we are apprehensive in sitting in it. And if we build up enough courage to sit in it, we'll see that it's really not that difficult.
Because it makes us feel now that we're not, good enough, or we're not, or we're wrong. And it's hard to accept that I'm wrong and I'm not as perfect as I thought I was.
Yeah. You make mistakes too, right? And your words can cause harm too. We have to accept that because we're not the only one in the relationship.
My God. Woo. Wow. So that's powerful. Just dealing with those areas of incompatibility, the emotional, the financial, and the
sexual.
Yes. All righty. Okay, we got to accept it. It is what it is at this point. Okay, and just lastly, affirmation. How important is that? Even as we strive and work through these challenges and these difficulties, how important is that we affirm each other as
affirmations?
mates?
I think are very, very important. But they are as important as we are able to live by them, right? And so when I tell people to construct affirmations, I want people to affirm those areas where there is a feeling of deficiency. Right? I want affirmations to actually speak to the life that needs to be infused into the relationship.
Yes,
so if we don't have an issue with rearing our children, then we're not going to necessarily affirm, we need to be good parents. But if we got an issue with parenting, right, then we got to deal with that through that affirmational process of constructing those affirmations that speak to who we want to be as parents. Who do I want to be as your best friend? Who do I want to be as your lover and your confidant? But you got to construct it in such a way that it speaks to where you're going.
And that connects to the goals where we started. Okay, so once you have those goals and say, this is how we want it to look. We want it, not how the Cosby's look, not how, the
my mama's look, my daddy's look.
So, once you, those lead to the goals. And when I'm talking about affirming, I was even thinking about just saying to yourself that you're okay, Ingrid. The way you are, I know you have some weaknesses, I know you have some shortcomings, but you're okay with me. All right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
For sure.
So listen, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, okay, comes what may. All right, the first point, okay, the first thing, one of the first keys in making a marriage work is accepting each other. Can you speak to somebody who is struggling, who's in that situation, Pastor Winsome, and they're at their wits' end because they're like, I can't deal with this person. It's just too much. We're diametrically opposed. Is the temperament is different, personality, culture, belief, everything is different. We don't see eye to eye. Hello. Help that person.
Absolutely.
Please.
And so there's this theory, Gottman's theory of the 4 horsemen, and he talks about the 4 things that are indicators that your marriage is not going to last. And one of those things is contempt. Okay? When you're angry, disgusted, hostile towards your partner. And he talks about the antidote to that. The antidote to that is appreciation.
Good.
What does your partner bring to the table? What are they good at? Has it been a long time since you have given them a compliment, a sincere, genuine compliment? And so sometimes we get so bewildered by how different we are that we fail to pause and appreciate the person that you fell in love with in the first place. And so appreciation is the antidote to contempt towards your partner.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Are you grateful? Have you demonstrated gratitude towards the gift that he or she is into your life?
I'm grateful, hon, wherever you are.
So that's what I would say to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to give us 3 others.
Oh.
Well, that was a good one. That was a good one. So listen, we're out of time. Okay, I'm seeing it like this. Okay, so listen, we are coming back with part 2.
Yes.
All righty. So I hope you're blessed tonight. I hope you were encouraged. Listen, there is hope. You can make it. You can make it. Don't give up. Just hold on. It might seem rough. It might seem hard right now. It might seem hopeless. But there is hope in God. And there's hope even as we study, okay, to show ourselves approved. You are endowed to win. And your marriage is endowed to win. God bless you. God bless you, Pastor Winsome. This was awesome. I learned so much. Awesome. Thank you. God bless you. See you again next time for part 2 of the ABCs of making a marriage work. All right. How y'all doing? This is your girl, Ingrid Woodstock, the host of Endowed to Win. Listen, I've been having a wonderful time. I'm wondering how you feeling on your end. So please, if you are enjoying the show, if you're being blessed by the show, please let us know. Send us an email, send us a text, call us, let us know that God is doing something in your life. Leave a comment, share the show, spread the love. Okay, share the show with someone who might need to hear this word or just need to be encouraged in their spirit. So please send us an email. Let us know what topics you want us to discuss. If you got a testimony, if you got a story to share, listen, we want to hear it. So we are a community. We're doing this together. So please comment on the below and give us a call, email, text, send us something. If you want to sow into the ministry so we can do more for the kingdom, you are welcome. You are free to do so. The information is also below. If you want sponsorship opportunities, we got you. Go ahead, email us at the information below and we'll be happy to accommodate you. God bless you. I'll see you soon. I'll catch you on the rebound next episode of Endowed to Win.